Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 328 based on novel. So let's start. Hehe, you little guy, you really have a heart. As expected of the descendants of my Xiao clan. Listening to Xiao Yang's eloquent words, Yu Ruo and Xiao Zifan suddenly felt a sense of relief in their hearts. Although Xiao Gui was in a very bad situation when they were young, even extremely tortuous, they listened to Xiao Yang's understatement, but their hearts were filled with pain. But as parents, the two of them couldn't help themselves. If it wasn't for the two of them fighting together, do your best to send Xiao Gui out. I am afraid that when they end up, they will not be much better than them. But fortunately, the opportunity to reunite the family is near, and the mood of the two has become happy. This is the fourth floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, close to the core of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, and it is greatly bound by the power of chaos, and the power of suppressing seals is superimposed, so it is extremely difficult to escape from here. My current strength is already the pinnacle of the 7 stars fighting immortals. I have tried countless methods over the years, but I can't escape from here. Because there is a great demon guarding here, if you want to escape from here, you can only defeat him. After a while, Xiao Zifan's eyes slowly raised his eyes, looking at a dark cloud outside the mountain and forest in the distance, and muttered, "Great demon." Xiao Yang suddenly wondered when he heard the words, but Xiao Yang's keen perception noticed that Xiao Zifan, who was stronger than this 7-star fighting immortal, was also quite afraid of this so-called great demon. The so-called great demon is an energy body that gathers evil forces, and its strength is also the peak of the 7-star fighting immortals. It's just that Zifan's attribute is a shadow type, so it is quite difficult to face that guy. Uromemu also there was a trace of worry, that kind of battle was not something she could handle, but now that her son was right in front of her eyes, if she couldn't escape this time, I'm afraid they would be separated from each other in the future. I have 2 holy flames, which can greatly restrain the power of the great demon. With the strength of the predecessors, it shouldn't be difficult to escape from here, right? Suddenly, on Xiao Yang's palm, 2 holy flames slowly emerged. He opened his mouth immediately. Chichi's novels are first published on the whole network. Duo Shengyang? Listening to Xiao Yang's voice, Xiao Zifan's expression suddenly became strange. Holy Flame is one of the best holy spirits in the world, and it is also the strongest force against foreign evil races. However, only one holy flame can exist in one person. If 2 holy flames exist in one person at the same time, it will undoubtedly explode. Body die. This guy, is it the same as those elders in the clan? Or is it just a coincidence? After a while, Xiao Zifan muttered slowly, "Senior, what do you think?" The next moment, Xiao Yang asked, "Little guy, do you have the guts to join hands with me to fight the great demon? If we succeed in leaving, then we will give you a great fortune." After a while, Xiao Zifan's handsome eyes stared at Xiao Yang's dark eyes, and smiled. Xiao Zifan knew that Xiao Yang's purpose seemed to be not only the 4th floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. "I can't ask for it." Xiao Yang heard the words, clapped his hands slowly, and said with a smile, "In that case, get ready and set off immediately." Seeing Xiao Yang so cheerful, Xiao Zifan said with a smile, "By the way, senior, when I was on the 3rd floor just now, the Fire Phoenix powerhouse on the 3rd floor seemed to have a lot of resentment towards our Xiao clan. Why is this? Is there anything between the Dragon and Phoenix clan and our Xiao clan?" The next moment, before leaving, Xiao Yang decided to ask. After all, Xiao Zifan must know something. For the sake of your kid helping us, I'll just tell you a little bit. At the beginning of the First World War, the situation was anxious. When it was in the middle and late stages, countless forces were only seeking to protect themselves, but in the face of the endless attacks from the evil races outside the territory, the races and forces standing at the peak of the Great Thousand Worlds bore the brunt. Among them, the Dragon Clan and Phoenix Clan are the 2 races that suffered the most losses. One time, the foreign evil clan aggressively attacked the Dragon Clan and Phoenix Clan, because the Dragon and Phoenix Clan were enemies from the back, and the 2 clans had a good relationship with our Xiao clan at that time. Called our Xiao clan for help, and the Xiao clan immediately dispatched the strong men from the clan to support them in 2 ways, but at the last moment, for some unknown reason, none of the strong men sent by the Xiao clan to the Foam clan went to the Foam clan to rescue. Even since they left the Xiao clan, there has been no news. In that battle, we, the strong people of the Xiao clan, helped the Dragon clan resist the attack of the evil clan from outside the territory, and just now retained the fighting strength of the Dragon clan and laid the groundwork for the subsequent victory, but the Phoenix clan was greatly damaged. The relationship between the clan and the Phoenix clan was completely broken, and this situation was created just now. However, I remember that the Xiao clan clearly allocated a lot of power to the Feng clan, but they were nowhere to be seen. Even if the most senior members of the clan made a move, they did not detect their traces, which is quite strange. Xiao Zifan looking back, he was also extremely puzzled about this. Although the Dragon clan is now torn apart, it is our Xiao clan's strongest ally. After the First World War, the Phoenix clan and our Xiao clan have become enemies, similar to the existence of the Fire Phoenix, but only the Phoenix clan. Some of them are of average status. If you encounter a strong Phoenix clan in the future, you should stay away. After the blink of an eye, Xiao Zifan opened his mouth and said, "Alas." Xiao Yang heard the words, so he nodded slowly. Knowing the truth of the matter, he couldn't help muttering, "Senior, I have something else to do, kid." After blinking, Xiao Yang opened his mouth. "You ask." Xiao Zifan said calmly. "Senior, Junior take the liberty to ask about the Xiao clan dissipating in the Great Thousand Worlds overnight, and even the countless vassal races all dissipating." In an instant, Xiao Yang asked. After all, he was as strong as the 7-star Dozian Peak. Among the Xiao clan, they also have a certain right to speak, so Xiao Yang asked, "I know these things, but it's not the time for you to know. Because the scope of those levels is too large, knowing that it won't do you any good." Listening to Xiao Yang's question, Rao Yi, the powerhouse at the peak of the 7-star fighting immortals, also felt a surge of interest. Feeling powerless, it seems that the reason for the disappearance of the Xiao clan is like a big mountain pressing in his heart. It seems that there is still a long way to go in the future. But I believe that sooner or later, I will make the Xiao clan repeat its glory, and even make those who harm our Xiao clan pay a heavy price. Xiao Zifan's rejection, Xiao Yang knew that he was doing it for his own good, and immediately said, "Good guy, have ambition. Although those forces are all at the peak of the Great Thousand World, our Xiao clan is still the first race in the Great Thousand World. Even if it has been lonely for countless years, the camel is bigger than the horse. Sooner or later, what they do will make them pay 1,000-fold. At that time, our descendants of the Xiao clan will also restore the glory of our clan." Chichi's novel was first published on the whole network. We will be back. The next time the Xiao clan returns, it will be time to take revenge against these forces. The glory of our clan must be rendered with blood by these guys. Seeing Xiao Yang's appearance, Xiao Zifan said impassively. In an instant, the entire mountain forest was surging, and the surging power was like a surging river. "Now that you're ready, let's go." He glanced slightly, and realized that Xiao Yang's aura had adjusted to the peak of the 4-star Dozian early stage. Xiao Zifan said, "Okay." Xiao Yang slowly got up and nodded. "This is a trace of my source power. It can give you the power of a 6-star fighting immortal in a short period of time. It can only last for a stick of incense, but I may not be able to protect you against the great demon in a while. You have to protect yourself, otherwise if something happens to you, I will not be able to explain to the strong in the clan. After all, there are no descendants of the Xiao clan who have been arrested, less than 10 people. This is the last hope for the revival of the Xiao clan." Xiao Zifan's palm, a trace of warm black energy emerged above, and suddenly looked at Xiao Yang with a calm expression. This trace of source power is the source of Xiao Zifan's shadow system, but this trace of source power makes Xiao Zi's complexion pale. Obviously, this thing is a lot of consumption for him. Junior takes orders. Xiao Yang gently took over Xiao Zifan's source power, and immediately said, but the heart-pounding fluctuations on it shocked Xiao Yang. After all, this thing came from the hands of the 7-star fighting immortal peak powerhouse. "Go." As soon as the voice fell, the 3 bodies moved rapidly, and in just a moment, they were heading towards the void in this mountain forest, and above this void, there was a black dark cloud. In the middle, the dense evil aura emerged, like an evil monster crawling out of the depths of hell, terrifying. "Is this the so-called great demon?" Xiao Yang frowned and exclaimed, looking at the hell-like scenery in the eerie dark clouds in front of him. Even with Xiao Yang's tyrannical soul power in the late stage of Tai Shu, when he looked into the depths of the dark clouds, an uncomfortable feeling swept through his body. "Ruer, you will protect Xiao Yang for a while. Xiao Yang, you will feint from the side, and if necessary, give me the second Saint Yang to kill him." The 3 of them stood under the black cloud. After a while, Xiao Zifan was still worried and said, "Road. Although Yu Ruer's power is only a 5-star fighting immortal, she has some means to temporarily isolate the evil power of the great demon." However, Xiao Zifan is not worried about Xiao Yang, so he said. Yu Ruer's beautiful eyes flickered slightly, and she nodded. "Go." In an instant, seeing the 3 of them getting ready, Xiao Zifan did not hesitate. a monstrous shadow filled the air, filling the entire space with ease. A surging force swept the entire whirl. As this surging shadow-type energy emerged from Xiao Zifan's body overwhelmingly, it filled the entire space. Suddenly, within the dark clouds like above the sky, countless dark and evil auras suddenly erupted with lightning and thunder. The terrifying fluctuations in the air also permeated the air, and this aura was actually not inferior to Xiao Zifan's. In the blink of an eye, in the dark cloud, an evil man made of dark evil energy slowly stepped out of the dark cloud, and immediately stared at Xiao Zifan with a smile on his face. Diffusion in the body. It was a man like a human, with dark green clothes and dark green skin and hair, which seemed out of tune with this world, but it was this peculiar fluctuation that indicated that this guy's strength was extraordinary. Human. This time, you will be my grand banquet. The dark green man just stepped out of the dark clouds, his face suddenly pale, and the dark green aura all over his body, a wave of fluctuations that made the three feel strongly disturbed slowly. Birth. Green devil. This time, let's completely end all our past grievances. Seeing this, Xiao Zifan raised his broad palm slightly, and a faint trace of shadow energy slowly beat, but there was a touch of command in it. The terrifying power of the silence of heaven and earth. Evil devouring field. Following Xiao Zifan's actions, the dark green man did not hesitate immediately, his palms slowly folded, and some ancient and complicated handprints were spread out directly under the eyes of several people. The dark green man is a collection of countless evil powers, and the source of these evil powers is the evil powerhouses who were captured and imprisoned in the Earth Spirit Pagoda by the powerhouses of the Soul Realm. With time and the power of the Chaos System, therefore, it was slowly suppressed and sealed by the Earth Spirit Pagoda. But I don't know why, after the fall of those evil powerhouses, their source power actually underwent some strange changes, and immediately merged into today's dark green demon. This guy's spirit, his intelligence is quite high, and even the fighting skills and combat power he masters are even more tyrannical, so even Xiao Zifan is helpless against him. Boom. The dark green demon's voice just fell. In this sky, countless blood chains emerged, directly wrapping everyone in the hungry space, and even in the field surrounded by countless blood chains, a cloud of blood it fell straight down from the sky and surrounded everyone. Evil realm. Looking at the hell-like space around him, with blood-colored thundercloud chains and blood-colored skull bubbles in an endless stream, Xiao Yang felt a hint of heaviness in his heart, and even the two holy flames in his body seemed to be threatened. Constantly sending strength to Xiao Yang to protect him, this is the first time Xiao Yang has encountered an evil powerhouse of these levels. This guy's strength is really getting stronger and stronger. Shadow escape. Realizing that the dark green demon had just started calling out of his domain, Xiao Zifan's body flashed a strange light, and after a while, he disappeared into the demon-devouring field, and even his breath was hidden. After fighting with this guy for many years, Xiao Zifan knows that when his field is displayed, it is too late for him to perform in the field. Xiao Zifan, get out of this seat. Casually glanced at Xiao Yang and Yu Ruo, and found that the two were weak, and the dark green demon had no interest in dealing with the two for a while, because he knew that among the three, only Xiao Zifan was a serious confidant. After he solved it, the other two humans couldn't run away either. Magic sound skull see. For a while, Xiao Zifan's figure and breath could not be noticed. The dark green man was shaking all over, and pieces of dark green crystals like crystals gently fell out of his body, and immediately went directly to the demon-devouring field. It exploded in the middle, and at that time, a touch of shocking magic sound continued to corrode the minds of the two, and even in this field, the sea of blood rolled, like the real doomsday of hell. Shadow heavenly prisoner. Suddenly, Xiao Zifan's body trembled slightly with the sudden scene in the demon-devouring field, and the void behind the dark green man suddenly trembled, and suddenly a palm wrapped in shadow energy, lightly protruding, but this palm contains such tyrannical power, which is undoubtedly enough to easily obliterate the 7-star fighting immortal powerhouse. Hey! Just as the palm of his hand was about to hit the dark green man's chest, the dark green man's face suddenly laughed, and his body suddenly turned into a pool of blood, slowly merging into the sea of blood in the demon-devouring field. As Xiao Zifan failed in his attack, his figure suddenly appeared, standing beside Xiao Yang and the two, with a touch of tyrannical energy emitting from his body, protecting the two, and after a moment he stared solemnly at the feet of the three. It was like a vast ocean violently shaking blood-colored sea of magic. The monstrous sea of demons, the blood chains are scattered, the demonic sound is terrifying, and the blood sea is tumbling. This is probably what the so-called should look like. At this time, in the demon-devouring field, countless blood chains were constructed, and the monstrous sea of demons within it exudes an unparalleled terrifying aura, rolling violently. The magic sound is shocking, and the spectacular scene is appalling. Zifan, I'm afraid this guy has already figured out your tricks. Seeing that Xiao Zifan's attacks were all dodged by the green devil, Yu Ruo said softly, her eyes staring at the blood-colored river below. At this time, the green goblin had integrated into it. The dark green devil is simply called the green devil by the two of them. It is the fusion of countless evil powerhouses. The fighting skills he masters are naturally countless, and over the years, Xiao Zifan and this guy have fought hundreds of times, and I am afraid he has been killed. This guy figured it out. Xiao Zifan, your attack route has been mastered by me. This time, just wait quietly for to devour it. Ha ha ha. Immediately, beneath the three of them, the monstrous sea of blood tumbled violently, and bursts of demonic sounds filled the air in an instant, completely filling the demon-devouring field space. Senior. Seeing this, Xiao Yang's expression was more solemn than ever. Use that power, help me. After Shun breathed, Xiao Zifan's pupils suddenly became firm, circles of black energy also permeated from his body, and even with the increase of this power, Xiao Zifan's handsome eyebrows in between, there seems to be some obscure pattern of light, creeping quietly, about to break out of the ground. Damn! What kind of power is this? The sea of blood rolled violently, but it did not easily attack Xiao Zifan, because the green devil knew that this battle would definitely be the winner and the loser, and one of them would fall completely, so extremely cautious. Hulala! Xiao Yang heard the words, and no longer hesitated. The source of the shadow system directly crushed the palm of his hand, and the energy as profound as the sea of stars filled the entire body, and in a short time he possessed the power of 6-star fighting immortal. What a tyrannical power! Now combining the power of the two holy flames and the great heavenly seed to display the two-colored and half-colored Buddha's fury fire lotus, I am afraid that among the 6 stars, it is invincible. Feeling the profound energy in the body, Xiao Yang he spoke slowly. Devil Sea Anteater. Seeing that Xiao Zifan's body was flickering with extremely dazzling black light, and there was something vaguely about to emerge between his eyebrows, the green devil did not hesitate. The sea of blood rolled, with an overwhelming evil atmosphere. Directly facing Xiao Zifan the chill came, and the overwhelming momentum was like the coercion of heaven and earth, which shocked people. The first time he felt the attack from the peak of the 7-star Dozian at close range, Xiao Yang swallowed hard and said in shock. If it weren't for the fact that he had temporarily possessed the power of the level of the 6-star Dozian, I am afraid that this kind of fighting skills alone would have allowed him to lose all his combat power. Wooden God bless. In an instant, the seemingly weak Yurua waved her hand, and green power, with abundant life breath, permeated the three of them, protecting them. For a moment, the three of them, surrounded by extremely strong green trees, struggled to resist the attack of the Sea of Bloods. Although the attack of the Green Devils was delayed, they could not resist for long. Shadow Lord. Boy, help me. After a while, Xiao Zifan's pupils suddenly turned a strange black, and he burst out. As soon as the voice fell, a black phantom slowly emerged in the void in the deep green devil realm. It was a shadow, and its specific appearance was similar to Xiao Zifan's body, but it was attached to its existence. But when the shadow appeared, Xiao Yang's heart couldn't help but be touched. It seemed that the shadow carried the soaring evil energy, like a statue, like a real devil. The power of the fire heart heavenly rock. Xiao Yang heard the words. Without hesitation, a dazzling khaki liquid flame permeated from the holy flame spirit within his body, and then suddenly gathered on the Shadow Lord. Ghost-face Soul Flame. After a while, the power of Ghost-face Soul Flame was injected into Shadow Master's body in the same way. Suddenly, the Shadow Master was injected with 2 strong and powerful powers by Xiao Yang at the same time, and it suddenly swelled up. In an instant, it has a size of hundreds of feet, which is quite scary. Holy flame! Impossible! The green goblin who was hiding in the sea of blood suddenly exclaimed when he noticed the twinkling of 2 flames in Xiao Yang's body. Kill me! Without giving the green devil any chance to react or breathe, Xiao Zifan snorted coldly, and the shadow-like Shadow Master behind him suddenly released his hunting aura that only belonged to him, and immediately locked on the green monster. The location of the demon, chased and killed it, and disappeared in this space in hiding. The tomb of the Sea of Blood. Realizing that the Shadow Master had absorbed the power of the 2 holy flames, the green devil's heart suddenly became extremely dignified. Although the power of the holy flames could not kill him, it was enough to easily defeat him, and with the existence of Xiao Zifan, once he is injured, I am afraid that it will not be far from the fall. Hey! As soon as the voice fell, countless blood-type bubbles tumbled violently in the sea of blood, and then a red tombstone engraved with these countless evil lines emerged. This tombstone has just emerged. The breath is quiet, completely surrendered, as if kneeling and worshipping something. A half-evil tool among the foreign evil races. It's a pity. His eyes were indifferent, and the power in his body was immediately gathered, and Xiao Zifan smiled when he saw the green devil appear like this. Half an evil tool. Xiao Yang nodded slowly when he saw this. Xiao Yang could see the tyranny of the evil tool for all to see. The tomb of the sea of blood, suppress me. With the emergence of the blood-colored tombstone, the green devil in the sea of blood spurted in a mouthful of blood, and suddenly the blood-colored tombstone seemed to come alive, with a deep breath, suppressing Xiao Zifan. The strong aura of death and the power of blood merged together. In addition to the evil in the demon-devouring field, the majestic power contained in the tomb of the sea of blood was like a shot from the Supreme, unable to resist. With a sound, Yu Ruo's defense was instantly shattered, the bodies of the three were exposed to the void, and a wave of death suddenly appeared in their hearts. Just when the blood-colored tombstone was about to attack Xiao Yang and the three of them, the Shadow Master suddenly made a move and easily passed it. Suddenly, the Blood Sea Tomb, which was as strong as a half-evil weapon, was completely shattered, and it was even shattered by a duo. The fire of the holy flame, burning, will obviously perish completely with the passage of time. How is that possible? Looking at this scene, the green devil in the sea of blood couldn't help shouting. It's time to end. Clan marks. Kai. Void / hanging. With the destruction of the tomb of the sea of blood, the green devil's aura was also sluggish, and at the center of Xiao Zifan's eyebrows, a trace of black energy trembled gently like the light of extinction, and immediately turned into a beam of light from a sharp serrated giant sword roared away at the green goblin. Xiao clan pattern? At this moment, Xiao Yang didn't know what happened, but the Xiao clan bloodline hidden in the deepest part of his body exuded a wave of adoration. That clan pattern is black as a hole, as if there is a pupil at the center of the eyebrow. The black pattern is carefully carved, and the power radiated in it may be punishable by heaven and earth, and Xiao Zifan's first strike was really performed using the power of the clan pattern. The tyranny of the momentum and attack power is simply appalling. Blood see blood explosion. Since I can't live, let's fall here together. Watching the unstoppable black sword gear attack, and adding the Shadow Master to attack secretly, the green devil roared, crazy thoughts emerged, and immediately a sea of blood, it was completely detonated by it, completely exploded, and countless blood chains also exploded. That kind of violent energy may be enough to destroy the plane of a person. The sea of blood exploded, and the entire field exploded. Coupled with Xiao Zifan's powerful strike using the power of the clan lines, this void completely gave birth to a real ***** scene. Boom. On the 4th floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda, the space trembled violently, and countless surging energy burst out like a tide. In an instant, the countless evil auras in this place disappeared, and all the mountains and forests vanished in an instant. At this moment, in this void, there are only 3 figures with a rather weak aura floating in the air, and this place has already been turned into a dilapidated and desolate place because of this level of explosion and fluctuation. Such a terrifying destructive power, it seems that I still underestimate him. After a while, Xiao Zifan took the lead, coughed violently while covering his chest, and then looked at the desolate space around him and said, "Senior." Xiao Yang's aura was also extremely weak at this time. At the last moment, Xiao Zifan displayed his clan power attack. Xiao Yang didn't have time to ask, and immediately the green devil directly detonated all his power and exploded completely. The self-destruction of the Xianding Peak powerhouse, if not for Xiao Zifan's isolation of most of the power, and the addition of the Shadow Master, Xiao Yang and Yu Ruo both tried their best to defend against the Doomsday, barely allowing them to survive the Doomsday explosion. Down. The green devil has completely fallen. I can't help you with respect to the Xiao clan pattern, because this thing is hidden in the depths of the Xiao clan's bloodline, and can only be triggered by experiencing life and death or some insights, etc. Its birth is different from person to person, and each Xiao clan person is different. The power of their clan marks is not the same. Xiao Zifan explained weakly, although this battle seems easy, but without Xiao Yang's help, I am afraid the price to be paid will be extremely heavy. The two of you, are you okay? Yu Ruo on the side forcibly supported herself not to fall down. The aura in her body emerged and directly applied it to the two of them, making them feel a little better. We're fine. Now that this place has been resolved, let's leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, the fluctuations generated here may disturb the great powers in the Earth Spirit Academy. Xiao Zifan stared at the endless void and said vigilantly, but he was just talking about the so-called when the court was powerful. A trace of anger spread out. Although his strength is already the pinnacle of the 7-star Dozian, and Yu Ruo is one of the top disciples in the Earth Spirit Academy, he can't help but make a powerful move, because there are 8-star Dozian experts in the Earth Spirit Academy. 8-star Dozian seems to have a small gap with the peak of 7-star Dozian, but only Xiao Zifan knows that if he is in his prime, he still has the strength to fight. The traces of ghosts have been known, and their parents cannot easily fall anyway. Suddenly, on the 4th floor of the trembling Earth Spirit Pagoda, a void energy body slowly emerged. This empty energy body looks like an old man. The old man is dressed in simple blue clothes, and the old palm is combined with the face full of vicissitudes. It is enough to see that it has experienced the erosion of time, and it is such a the phantom of the old man stood in the void, and the terrifying fluctuations around him turned out to make this piece of void residual power and violently shaking space become quiet, as if he waved his hand. This place will be completely for ashes. Mo Tianwen. And when this phantom appeared in Yu Ruo's beautiful eyes, Yu Ruo, who used to be unsmiling in the past, was filled with a chilling power. Ruo. Calm down first, the top priority now is to get out of here and reunite with Xiao Gui, and other matters, we will discuss it in the long run. Seeing Chen Ying beside him so angry, Xiao Zifan hurriedly comforted him. Chiche's novels are first published on the whole network. Back then, the matter between me and Yu Ruo was because this old guy was secretly trying to defeat him, and it was he who imprisoned Yu Ruo's parents. My son's father, one of the 3 headmasters of the underworld, was only impeached by this old man out of nothing, and thus lost his position as headmaster. Since then, without the protection of the headmaster, the 2 of them were also impeached by the Earthling Academy. Thoroughly wanted, and finally this guy took action and suppressed them in the Earth Spirit Pagoda. Who is it? Xiao Yang's keen soul power, aware of the aura, suddenly looked at a broken void behind, and snorted coldly. That evil figure was actually obliterated by you. It's really a misstep. The grey-white energy body glanced at the barren void and said lightly, "Damn, it's actually this guy." Seeing this, Xiao Zifan's heart also filled with a hint of heaviness. It seems that the great demon has fallen. Mo Tianwen looked at the people around him and spoke slowly. There was a very special power in his voice, like the pressure of the heavens and the earth, which made one's heart palpitate. Obviously from this voice, it is not difficult to hear that the so-called great demon is also the handwriting of this guy. Zifan, let's go. Yu Ruo rolled her eyes, temporarily suppressing her anger, and said immediately, "Humph. 2 fearless rats, stay completely." Seeing Xiao Zifan's figures squirming and escaping quickly, the old man waved his palm, and a majestic grey energy swept out and shot directly at the 2 of them. Such strong energy fluctuations, if they catch up with Xiao Zifan and the 2, I am afraid that the 2 of them will fall here completely. After all, the 2 of them are now weak. Boom. In an instant, when the 2 were panicking, a figure behind them was tightly wrapped by a strange black light, and between the waves, an equally tyrannical black cyclone directly hit the grey energy of the old man, and immediately too the person was deadlocked, and after a while, he returned to calm. "Boy, thank you. This is the great fortune promised to you." In an instant, Xiao Zifan and Yu Ruo jumped, shaking in the void, and disappeared directly here, and at the same time, a black scroll also quietly fell into Xiao Yang's hands. 8 stars fighting immortals. Mo Tianwen said solemnly, seeing that his attack was blocked, and his eyes were fixed on Xiao Yang, who was surrounded by black light and couldn't see his figure. "Old ghost, let's end it." The next moment, resentment slowly sounded, and in the black light, countless ghosts and wild ghosts wailed, and suddenly this broken space was filled with an indescribable danger. Breath. Creak. Mo Tianwen's energy phantom shattered immediately. Immediately, this space was also returning to quietness, but the shattering and restless space would obviously explode before it could last long. "Are you all right, little guy?" As several people left one after another, the Soul Eater Lord's body easily appeared beside Xiao Yang, and he said with concern that he had just used his strongest power now, the power of the 8-star fighting immortal early stage. It obviously caused a lot of load to Xiao Yang. "Teacher, I'm fine. The next step is to collect this so-called great good fortune, and even to the most core step of the Earth Spirit Pagoda." Chiju Yin Hunzhen. Xiao Yang directly swallowed a lot of medicinal pills to restore his vindictive energy, and murmured while holding the black scroll that Xiao Zifan had just given him in his palm. Boom. A deafening sound, like a broken glass, was particularly harsh, resounding in this void. "It's not too late, let's do it," the Lord of Soul Eater said when he noticed a trace of space vortex shaking. "The 4th floor is already dilapidated. The only way to solve it as soon as possible is to enter the core place. Otherwise, once the strong people of the Earth Spirit Academy find out what happened in the Earth Spirit Pagoda, they will send strong men to intercept Xiao Yang. This time the Earth Spirit Tower can only be forced to give up." And only by entering the deepest part of the Earth Spirit Pagoda can we avoid the pursuit of the Dean of the Earth Court. Otherwise, once the 8-star fighting immortal level Mo Tianwen comes after him, I am afraid it will be extremely difficult for the two of them to deal with them. After all, the ultimate strength of the current Soul Eater is only barely reaching the initial stage of the 8-star fighting immortal. In addition, his identity cannot be revealed, and there are many limitations in strength, so the combat effectiveness has dropped extremely seriously. Okay. Xiao Yang nodded lightly. What great fortune is there in this 4th floor? I hope you don't let me down. The dark pupils stared at the black scroll in his hand, exuding a touch of fiery, and muttered, according to Xiao Zifan's solemn eyes just before he left. It is hard to see that the so-called great fortune is the scroll that the former gave him. Open. After the breath, Xiao Yang gently stroked it with his palm, and a trace of the strongest pressure suddenly diffused from the black scroll. Before that, Xiao Yang had already handed Xiao Zifan the details of Xiao Gui and how to find it, and in the end, the two of them escaped regardless of themselves, which is also what Xiao Yang meant, because with Xiao Zifan's strength, he would undoubtedly be able to leave with Xiao Yang, but Xiao Yang's purpose was not the 4th floor, so he refused, and after some persuasion, Xiao Zifan escaped with Yu Rua, leaving Xiao Yang behind. Immediately, waves of rippling shadow-type energy radiated dazzling light like a sea of stars, illuminating the entire 4th floor of the Earth Spirit Pagoda. This is Shadow Lord. Suddenly, Xiao Yang stared at the scroll in his hand and lost his voice. At this time, on the surface of the black scroll, a black liquid-like liquid slowly emerged from the scroll. Even through Xiao Yang's perception, this black liquid contained an extremely terrifying power. And this power is somewhat similar to the Shadow Master that Xiao Zifan just displayed. The power and lethality of the Shadow Master is probably at the top of the Shadow system, and the most important thing is that it can absorb power, so as to hide in the darkness, so as to find the opportunity of a fatal blow. It may be rude to say that this fighting skill is similar to the summoning fighting skill, but the difference is that when the Shadow Master displays, it will imitate its own strength to create a shadow, and the shadow is like a killer lurking around the battle, once the enemy has any slack. It is easy to cut its throat and obliterate it, and the Shadow Master's retreat cannot be detected. Unless some powerful light-type powerhouses, this fighting skill is an invincible existence. Just imagine, once you are cast such a terrifying fighting skill, you can't relax at all times, and you have to worry about whether there is an enemy hidden in the dark at every moment. I didn't expect this guy to be so willing. Looking at the black liquid, the words Shadow Lord slowly emerged, and immediately stood silently above the black liquid. The Lord of Soul Eater did not expect it. Teacher, this fighting skill? Xiao Yang asked with a hint of surprise in his heart. Obviously, this Shadow Master and black liquid are definitely not simple things. This thing should be enough to be in the category of immortal arts, but I don't know the specific grades, but the only thing that can be sure is that this is a very lethal fighting skill, and as long as it is displayed, you will not be required. In controlling it, because it has its own intelligence, it can float around the battle to find opportunities for a fatal blow, and this thing is your best helper during the battle. The Lord of Soul Eater explained. Good stuff. Xiao Yang grinned when he heard the words, and immediately focused his attention on it. Shadow Master. Lives with shadow-type energy, and uses energy to create tyrannical shadow creatures with tyrannical attack power. It can be said to be a real killer move. Seeing the simple introduction, Xiao Yang's heart became hot. Let's do it, said the Master of Soul Eater. Come here. Xiao Yang heard the words, his heart became hot, and the burning dew deep inside his body ran at a high speed, and immediately absorbed the liquid on the black scroll. Attracted by Xiao Yang's violent fluctuations, the black liquid of the shadow system was also quite obediently following Xiao Yang's cultivation technique and flowed into his body. Time passed by minute, and Xiao Yang sat for several days. It's the middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortals. One day, Xiao Yang's pupils opened wide, and a majestic aura permeated his body, and suddenly laughed. Xiao Yang also did not expect that the energy of the shadow system actually raised his strength to the middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortal. Where's the Shadow Master? Suddenly, the Soul Eater asked. By the way, the Master of Shadows. Xiao Yang heard the words and hurriedly searched in his own body. After all, the most important thing this time was the Master of Shadows, and the increase in strength was something unexpected. Why not? Impossible. I cultivated according to the cultivation method in the scroll, swallowing the energy of the shadow system, and after the compression of the bucket core, the spiritual seed of the shadow was formed in the body, so that as soon as the spiritual seed was activated, the shadow dominion would become it will show up. But why is there no movement now? Xiao Yang was puzzled, carefully sensing the situation in his body, and said depressedly, "Wong buzz." Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, Xiao Yang's body, the empty Do Qi Sea, suddenly erupted with quite violent fluctuations. In the sea of fighting qi, at this time, there are only fire-wood double bucket cores, together with fighting spirits and flaming beasts in a sleeping state, and at this time, the bright fluctuations erupted, and it was a black light spot. This black light spot was like breaking through, entering an unfamiliar place. He was met with fierce resistance from several others. This should be the spiritual seed dominated by shadows, but Xiao Yang was feeling depressed, but the color of the spiritual seed in the Do Qi Sea slowly changed from black. The dazzling flame aura emerged directly from the fire element's core, and then, like an enemy who had invaded his own territory, it blasted away at the spiritual seed dominated by the shadows. Immediately, the black spiritual seed's the color changed from pitch black to a rather weird fiery red. At the same time, behind Xiao Yang's body, with the help of the weak light, a red phantom slowly emerged. "Master." In an instant, the void became quiet, and then the red shadow behind Xiao Yang suddenly spoke. "This is the Lord of Shadows?" Xiao Yang asked in surprise. "Wait. No, in this case, I am afraid it is the Shadow Master after the mutation, because there is no shadow energy in his body, just extremely rich fire energy." The Lord of Soul Eater said. "If that's the case, let's call you the Master of Fire Guard." Xiao Yang smiled contentedly upon seeing this. This video will end here.